Right. So the point of this is to demonstrate existing functionality within Site Manager, hopefully get wider adoption of the more peripheral features within ClickHome, and help people understand what it's there for, what it's trying to do, and how to use it. Okay. So the first one that we're going to do is trade allocation screen, which is really centered around suppliers, looking at the work a cross-section of suppliers have within certain cost codes to allow scenarios like a construction manager wants to know which frame carpenters are working in his region, which frame carpenters have work that's scheduled on the same day, so you can see conflicts, which ones have very little work, which ones are oversubscribed, and to help them resolve those issues with the supervisors. Okay? There might be other kind of scenarios that people would look at this. So from a supply chain management, you're managing that supplier and you're looking to see that they are being fully utilized by your construction team, etc. like that. So there are many different uses, and as I go through and demonstrate the software, you'll probably come up with your own and different ways of using it, and I'd like to learn from that. So if I just show you, I'm going to log into the system and navigate to the trade allocation screen, just to kind of start from scratch. So I'll log out. I'm going to log in as someone into Site Manager. Now, various different experience, so you have to be logged into Site Manager, have a username and password, and you need to have some security privileges to get at the trade allocation screen, namely supplier management. So I logged into Site Manager, you'll see your normal job list, and there's a portals button up there. Click portals, click suppliers, and you go first off to the scheduling screen. So the one we're interested in today is trade allocation. So I'll click on trade allocation, and you start off with a blank screen. Okay, so I've gone portals, supplier, and then trade allocation. So you start with a blank screen, and up here are the selection criteria. So you'll see filter mode. You have different types of filters, and I'll come back to this in a second. The regions that you're selecting, or the business units that you're selecting, the cost codes that you're interested in. So this trade allocation isn't showing you just jobs for one supplier, it's showing you jobs within certain cost codes, certain types of work, i.e. frame carpenter, bricklayer, anything like that. And then obviously the date range that you're looking at. So you can go into the past or a long way into the future, depending on your forecasting and your requirements. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to do all regions, and they're all ticked. And then I'm going to select plasterer. Actually, I'll start off with ceilings and plasterer, and let's remember my selections from last time. I'm just going to click view. Okay, and that will then, you'll see that over here there's a little bar that shows progress, and that just shows that it's loading up information. So sometimes if you've got a large amount of data, it might take longer to run. Okay, so I'll just move those out of the way. So by default, scrolling down, just make sure I can see everybody. Okay. So I've just loaded up plaster and ceilings in one view, so you can select multiple cost codes. Now, you might have sets of different trade types that you would schedule together at the same time. I've been in a construction manager meeting where they do frame carpenter, plasterer and painter in one go, just because it's convenient to talk to all the supervisors in that one scenario. Or you might be just looking at one particular trade and then going back and looking at another particular trade. So it's loaded up the information here, and along the top you can see the days. So at the moment we're looking at it in a 5-week view. There is a different option to only look at 14 working days, which obviously just allows you to see more detail. Down here you'll see a list of the suppliers. Okay. So these are the suppliers that are available to do work under the cost codes that we selected, and that's based upon the resource code on the supplier record in ClickHome. Okay. Now, at the moment, it's showing a lot of people that don't actually have work in this period of time. So I'll take a step back, sorry. So if I look at this box here, that's a task that supplier is doing, and what that's showing up there is the first name of the supervisor, and then obviously the job number here. And if I click on that, it's going to open up this pop-up screen, which hopefully everyone can see. That gives a bit more detail about that job. So job number, full lot address, the client name, the task name, the duration, how many days, and that task's relationship to the baseline. So is it ahead of schedule or behind schedule? So in this case, we're ahead of schedule. Okay, so you can just open that up by clicking on it, and it opens up, and red X to close it down. Okay. Now, the different background colours relate to different supervisors. So, depending on which supervisor you have, Alan would always have that colour background, Peter would always have that colour background, Kenny that colour background. And it just helps you visualise it. So, at the moment, I'm seeing a load of suppliers with no tasks on there at all, because they are just people that can do that type of work. So you see I've got mixed up plasterers and ceilings together, just to show an example there. So, and as I scroll down, I'm getting more suppliers, and these people have work allocated to them. One important thing to note, probably this is the best one to see, is where you've got a black surround, it means that task has been planned, and there are differences on the lines here. Where it's a red surround like that, it means it's forecast. It's due to be done, but it's not done yet. That makes sense. And as always with demo data, there's some forecasts within the price because we have a forecast. And then these ones over here spread across the boundary. So if I went to the next 14 days, you see their surrounds. Okay. One thing to note here is obviously this Premier Ceilings WA Pty Limited has at one point has 4 concurrent tasks, and as such it shows us 4 rows in this view. Now the second to 4th row are highlighted as red because this supplier has the maximum capacity of only 1 job per time. Now again, you can set what an individual supplier's capacity is on the supplier record. So by default it leaves it as 1. You can up that to be 10 or 20, and that will change whether this background is highlighted in red or not. Okay? And that's really just a prompt to help you see problem areas. Okay? And it will use the forecast dates of jobs to help you calculate whether you're over the maximum capacity of that supplier. So at the moment I'm showing lots of suppliers that don't actually have work. Now there is a way of shortening that up. If I tick this hide unused suppliers, tick that, it will get rid of everyone that doesn't have work assigned to them, so you're really just working with those tasks. There is one line that we can't see on this set at the moment. So if there is work that is unallocated, it will show as a row called unallocated at the top here, where my mouse is moving, and that will run across the top, and that will show all work where the task has not been allocated to a real supplier, whether that be a to-be-advised supplier or whether it just be blank. And that obviously is another assistance for the construction manager or the central scheduler to identify ones where they need to bring them down into real people and load up their work. I'll look in a minute to find an example where I can see an unallocated cell. Okay, so this trade allocation screen has been in our product for quite a long time. I suppose very recently we've had some good input into how to readjust it and make it more useful, and hopefully make it an active tool rather than just a reporting tool. So we were looking at how can you actually use this to perform something. So this tool is great for looking at stuff, but really how can you use it to do actions? And really the action you're looking at here is one, change who the supplier is, and two, change the date that they are due to start. Okay. So what I can see from so I was talking about the surrounds, and you'll see that if it's a solid black surround, I'm able to move the plan date of that task. So I can move when that task is planned to. So just to recap, I've just clicked on that task, and I can just drag it across to there, and you'll see the icon will go into a cross. Right. And I am then able to drop it, and that will go and reschedule that task. And you'll see it's moved across there. And that is sent a reschedule out to that supplier, and they will receive the appropriate call-up. And so that's just acted upon right there and then. So that's moving the plan date. The other thing that you are able to do in this screen is to move a task from one supplier to another. So the scenario where you have got someone over-allocated, you're looking to spread the work, so you would move that task from Dean Curtis to Agnello, to allow that work to move around and to ensure that maybe your favourite trade gets the work in preference of other people, or so that a trade isn't over-allocated. So I'm just taking the hide on new supplier just to squash that. Okay. I'm just going to open up the microphones just to check whether there are any questions there, whether there's something I need to go over again. So please ask out if there is. Matt, I'm having trouble unmuting you. Okay. Has anyone got any questions about what I've shown there? No? Does it make sense in being able to get to that screen? Does it make sense in terms of what it is showing? Yeah. A little bit different from a Gantt chart because obviously it will show across lots of contracts. Yeah. Okay. Go on then. This is a version 6.10, yes. So it is a new version. It's just about to be released. Does that make sense? So the major changes came into place in version 600. There are a few tiny tweaks that we've done to it in 6.10.
So, when you drag and drop and then reschedule it,
yeah.
when you call the supplier, does that really cancel out the original supplier as well?
Yes, it did. It goes through the normal schedule routines that would happen via someone doing that on local manager.
Is that a route attached to it? Is that reschedule that as well?
No. So something I was going to cover at the end, but you brought it up. With changing dates in this screen, it is dangerous because you don't have visibility of the whole call sheet. And obviously, there's another screen called the Contract Planner, which will show tasks across all of the contracts. This screen doesn't. It just shows the one individual task that's relevant in that cost code. So we've taken two decisions. One is that if it is a key task, it will not go and reschedule the linked tasks. The second